see Mega Manetric here. Justin's been on a tear so far, I believe, only losing this previous round. So a 7-0 going into round 8, and closing out phase 1 at 7-1 record, and now going to phase 2 for the first round is going up against the Dusknoir Dragapult here.
Ooh, and right away, a bunch of energy cards going down.
On both sides.
On both sides for these players. That Neo upper is a big deal for Carson, of course. A couple supporters there for him as well. A little awkward, but 3 lightning energies. We see Electric Generator there in those prize cards. That is a big part of basically any lightning deck. So something that Justin here not going to have super high likelihood of maybe hitting some of those early generators.
Yeah, could hurt the generator numbers a little bit, but it is an electric build, which means there is more energy acceleration besides the electric generators, of course. And we see Justin jumping into immediately with a Nest Ball and maybe eyeing up the Squawk, but might just be going through some prize checking here.
Yeah, going to check the prize cards. Of course, Miraidon is an excellent option in the early turns for this deck. He actually already has his pink card in hand, a spec spotted. The secret box for Justin in this opening hand opens up so many possibilities. So Justin will kick it off here with that Nest Ball. Does indeed eye up the Squawkabilly. Over on the right-hand side, we've got Carson Washer starting a Dreepy. Going to be playing that Dragapult Dusknoir deck. I actually think a same build, probably the same 60 as Andrew Hedrick, who we just saw in the last round. Carson and Andrew are friends, work together, and Carson is actually really cool story here. First year master, his second ever tournament as a Masters Division player, and he is sitting at a 7-1 record. You know, Carson's someone who's had a lot of success over the years in Pokemon TCG. He was a great Juniors Division player. He just won a regional championships last season in his final season as a Seniors Division player, and now he is off to an excellent start here, his first year as a Master.
Yep, already put himself in a pretty good spot heading into this phase 2. Over on Justin's side, we did see the secret box come out immediately, which is, this is a Mega Manetric deck, but at the core of it, it's also still a Miraidon deck. We got the Miraidon EXs. We have the Iron Hands, which is going to be a big piece of the opening aggression here from Justin, most likely. That's going to be what Justin's going to be looking to set up. As we see it make its way to the bench, and the first generator is coming out here.
Yeah, 5 cards from the top. Any 2 lightning energies up to 2 can be attached. It is just 1, but here on this first turn, even getting that 1 is really strong. Still has access, of course, to Squawk and Seize. We'll be able to discard the hand and draw 6 new cards here on the other end of this shuffle. So talk to us, kind of fill us in, Azul, a little bit about the general strategy here for this Manetric Iron Hands deck. What are we going to see from Justin specifically in this matchup?
So we're going to want to see the Iron Hands kind of be the initiator for Justin to start to pick off some stuff like Dreepies. Maybe it has to go through a Badoo if you can chase a Duskull down. And the core of it, like I mentioned, it's like the Miraidon Iron Hands of old that we've seen for a while. But the Mega Manetric is like the new big upgrade to the deck that Miraidon's been missing the big one-hit KO potential, which is what the Mega Manetric brings to the deck once again. Being able to do potentially 330 damage with the Riotous Blasting can KO stuff like Dragapult EX, Charizard EX, Grimmsnarl EX. This is something the Miraidon Iron Hands combination's been missing. And now it has that missing piece.
Yeah, very powerful just stats-wise as well. 330 HP, free retreat, which automatically makes any card so much better. But something missing here for Justin on his first turn, there was no Electric. So we will not see a early establishing of the Mega Manetric EX. But I guess that's something he's fine with. He doesn't have to get it right away. Now over here on the other side, Carson is kicking things off pretty nicely. Able to find Buddy Poffin, searching the deck for a Dreepy and a Badoo. And I have to imagine the item lock of the Itchy Pollen will be really nice here for Carson. It will cut Justin off of being able to amp you very much next turn. It's actually not possible for him to do that.
Yeah, actually, Justin whiffing the Tynamo or the Electrike, like you mentioned. More importantly, maybe a Miraidon to find those 2 cards, because one thing Carson's deck, of course, can do very well is pick off those lower HP basic Pokemon before they can get evolved. That's something Dragapult is very proficient at. And like you mentioned, with no access to the amp you very much from Iron Hands on the next turn, things are already looking a little bit scary here for Justin. He is playing the more aggressive deck. Getting Iron Hands established initially, or even Miraidon and starting to draw 2 prize cards with your initial attacks is a big deal when you're going up against such a late game powerhouse like Dragapult.
And how about this setup here from Carson? Plays the hand out perfectly, able to get down Duskull, Ultra Ball for the Latias EX, and then a Lily's Determination as the final card in hand, shuffling in to draw a fresh 8 cards. An excellent start. You couldn't write it up better.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. Usually the one thing you're okay with, like whiffing on the first turn of Dragapult, is like an energy attachment or committing your energy attachment to retreat into the Badoo. But Carson literally has everything. The Latias to get to the Badoo and the Dreepy with the energy. Things are looking pretty good.
He does have another Dreepy here in hand. Is kind of thinking about whether or not he wants to bench it.
Yeah, I might want to save the bench space open for a Duskull, but it looks like the Dreepy might be making its way down here. And yeah, it seems content with that. And then even the aggressive Jamming Tower takes away the air balloon.
That's actually a really big deal here. That will remove the ability for Justin to just simply retreat that Squawkabilly out of the active spot. Now with the Itchy Pollen being utilized, interesting here to see Justin going for the Arven. Will not be able to play the item card that he finds off of this. Is that all the only supporter he had in his hands?
I think so. Actually, there was maybe a questionable play from Justin, I feel like, on the first turn of the game with the secret before using Squawkabilly's Squawk and Seize. I believe took a Lily off of the secret box and then just discarded it. So valuing the potential of the Arvens higher, or it looked like it was an Iono, actually. So valuing the Arvens higher. But as we see as this develops, once the Badoo gets online and starts using Itchy Pollen, Arven's pretty weak, especially when you already have an air balloon established on the squawk.
And it is just a pass from Justin over to Carson. That find of the jamming tower working nicely. I guess it wouldn't have actually mattered anyway, because Justin doesn't even have an energy card.
Yeah.
Really nothing working at all. Carson here going to get time to establish, and I have to feel like that is a huge deal. And then this could be a huge deal here as well. I understand it, right? You want to set up, you need to value your own board position. Carson, of course, wants to find some Dracloaks, but Carson knows his opponent did nothing last turn. I always hate giving my opponent a new hand when I know they have nothing going on.
Yeah, it feels bad, but definitely the correct play here from Carson. Just needs to continue to build up his board state. Even if Justin was to pull off an arm press for a single prize card on the Badoo next turn, you're not stressing about that at all. Carson is more than happy to potentially give up some aggressive options to Justin.
And wow, look at this. Carson, off of his 6 cards from Iono, does not find a Dracloak. No Ultra Ball, no Dracloak, no way to get a Recon Directive up and running, no way to draw some more cards. That is going to be an opening here for Justin to get established, but he doesn't have much either. It will be Motivate. The attack from Squawkabilly does play 20 damage onto this Badoo, so sets up for an aggressive 2-hit KO from the Squawkabilly, but maybe more importantly, does get an energy attachment to the Iron Hands EX on the bench.
Yeah, and Carson's hand is actually completely dead. Things were starting to look really, really good for Carson, but the lack of Dracloaks, like you mentioned, and now the lack of a draw supporter this turn is giving a huge opportunity for Justin to get back into this game from his slow start because of the slow follow-up.
And Boss's Orders will choose to bring up the Electrike here. Carson, with this play, just trying to bide his time, give himself an opportunity to get out of this slow start, hoping to give himself a chance to find a supporter card, find a Dracloak, and hope Justin whiffs a little bit here, is slowed down just a bit.
And Justin is not slowed down at all, has the retreat off the Electrike. Is going to have to settle for the arm press for the KO here, so we'll only get 1 prize card. Justin possibly could have just retreated to the Squawk there and motivated instead for the turn to load up the Iron Hands fully, but
still take a prize card.
Removing 2 energy off a Dreepy feels pretty good.
It's exactly what Justin goes for. Gets rid of that Dreepy. He strikes first, takes his first prize card, and now Carson is able to find a little bit of help, has Iono in the hand. Will be able to play that to hopefully find some Dracloaks and hopefully start to get his board more established.
It's definitely funny how this game is played out, because Carson was in such a good spot to begin with, but then had that little hiccup in the last couple of turns, and we're kind of at the pace that this matchup usually plays out at. Like, we've returned to the average at this point now, I feel like, going into this turn from Carson. As we finally have the Iono, of course, if there's no Dracloaks found here, I think we're worried again.
Carson does have Ultra Ball, so at least 1 Dracloak can come into play, of course. I think we got an issue here potentially with too many cards drawn off Iono from Justin.
I'm not sure exactly
what happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the order.
I think maybe Justin he was dealing out his hands, his draw off of the Iono, and then placed the remaining of the cards he was dealing out on top of his hand that was supposed to go on the bottom of his deck. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, our judges at the table are going to try to get this sorted out, and we'll figure out exactly what the word is. We will get you all updated as soon as we know. But yeah, that's maybe a good note for anyone watching at home. After Iono, before you draw your cards, put your deck all together. Put it all together. Don't leave yourself with multiple piles. Really just a general rule of thumb with Pokemon TCG. Don't leave a bunch of piles on the field. It just leads to potential confusion, and I think that may be what has exactly happened here.
Yeah, not 100% sure. But yeah, definitely minimize your piles on the table. Get your Iono cards on the bottom of your deck before you go to draw off the top of your deck. They're talking about the Electrike as well. Maybe the energy from the Electrike ended up back in the deck? Is that possibly the confusion here?
No, it's right there in the discard pile, face up in the discard pile, right?
Yeah, because it didn't get motivated last turn, so that should be the Electrike's energy.
Yeah, so I don't think it's that. I think the question may just have to be how many cards were put on the bottom from the Iono, and that's I think we've sniffed it out here as well. I think that is indeed what happened here. Simple enough fix, but yeah, very sketchy there for a moment. Could have been a bit of an issue for Justin, but thankfully everything was caught, realized before cards went to the wrong place. Looks like we are good to go.
Yeah, thankfully able to recover that. And the draw from Justin, I saw an energy and a boss. Which, going after another GP, maybe a Dracloak on this next turn would be a pretty powerful play.
Now, Carson does have a pair of Ultra Ball here, so that could lead to 2 Dracloak in play if he'd like it. And he may feel that pressure, right? Because Justin is potentially threatening Boss's Orders plus a energy attachment in order to just take that Pokemon out. He wants to be able to establish a Dragapult on the next turn, I have to imagine.
Yeah, I think so. I think we'll probably see. I'm sure Carson is hoping to not have to play both Ultra Balls. Would love to Dracloak into another Dracloak off of its ability, but we might have to see Carson sacrifice a lot of resources to double Ultra Ball here to get the double Dracloak down. I think it's definitely something you're aggressively playing around.
And he actually could also just get Pheasantipity here, and that's what he is going to go with. And with the other Ultra Ball remaining in his hand, he will still be guaranteed to get a Dracloak, hoping to find one off of this. What do you think of this sequence?
It feels a little risky. I kind of like the idea of just guaranteeing the double Dracloak. The double Ultra Ball does feel very resource intensive. You have a pretty good odds here, though. This does give you the fuel for the second Ultra Ball. You're going to draw 3 cards. You'll probably be able to give up one of the cards in hand or one of the cards off the fez and make the other Ultra Ball work, but you're still very much hoping to find double Dracloak here.
3 cards here from Flip the Script. Does find a Dragapult, but no Dracloak found. He will find one now off of this Ultra Ball, and going to be crossing his fingers off this recon directive to find a way into one more.
Yeah, this is going to be a big recon directive here for sure. Whether or not you get a Dracloak here can completely shift the tempo of this game. You want to be attacking with Dragapult next turn. And we do know Justin has energy and boss, but even just a boss, an arm press KO with this Dracloak would be devastating. Let's see how it goes.
Recon directive looks at the top two, a Nest Ball and an Iono, so no Dracloak found, and this could be a big opening for Justin if he indeed has boss plus energy in hand. That will be an Ampu very much coming in on the Dracloak here, clearing it out of play, putting him in a really strong spot. Itchy Pollen from the Badoo will limit Justin's play a little bit here, but he's got everything he needs, and sure enough, energy, boss's orders lined up, ready to go, and that Dracloak is enemy number one.
So one of the interesting things about how this matchup can play out sometimes, and for this board state specifically, is you can win these games without Dragapult. You have Ursaluna, and it usually, when you're doing in the early game, slowing Justin down like it has happened so far in this game, Justin has this Iron Hand set up, is using Amp very much, but has no other threats established. And actually, with the Duskull on the bench this turn, Carson could find Dusclops, activate its ability, give Justin another prize card, and then be able to use Ursaluna for a single energy and knock out the only threat in play, which is the Iron Hand.
And pairing that with Iono would be a really strong option, and the Iono is already waiting in the hand here for Carson. Going to use Flip the Script, drawing 3 first. Does find the energy card. Ultra Ball can get the Blood Moon Ursaluna.
And I believe Dusclops is in the discard pile from the Ultra Ball on the previous turn. You could go a step further, maybe find Hawlucha and take out the Electrike on the bench as well, leaving Justin with just a Squawkabilly, getting 2 cards off an Iono.
Okay. That does make things a little interesting here. The question has to become, where does Carson go from there? That would be a really strong play this turn. It would leave Justin with almost nothing, but Justin would still have just 2 prize cards remaining. It gives him a chance to try to get reestablished and find a way back into it. And this deck can be really explosive with Electric Generator.
Yeah, and once some prize cards start to get drawn, Justin does play the other closer in the Manetric deck, the Zekrom EX, which of course does more damage for each prize card your opponent has taken. And it looks like Carson, with the Ursaluna grab, is gearing up to get aggressive this turn, which would open that up as a possibility.
Looks like everything is coming together nicely here for Carson. A pair of Night Stretcher in hand. Can probably also get back a Dracloak to get a little bit of draw power up and running. Make sure that he can go somewhere after the Blood Moon Ursaluna play on the next turn.
Yeah, and we do have that energy on the Dreepy right now, so that would need to be a follow-up. Of course, Ursaluna cannot attack 2 turns in a row unless it is able to get from the bench back to the active, which I don't believe Carson plays a way to do that, except maybe using another Dusclops ability if we can get another Duskull down this turn. But you'd probably rather just retreat into a Dragapult and attack with that instead.
This is a smart little sequence here from Carson as well, using the Curse Blast before the Iono, making sure that Justin has 1 less card in hand on the other end of this Disruption supporter.
Yeah, this is what can happen.
And the first card is the Hawlucha for Carson as well. What?
I think we're probably going to see that Electrike go down here and get removed from play. The threat of a Mega Manetric is still pretty daunting, but we can clean that Electrike up this turn, and it will just be that lone Squawkabilly for Justin on board.
This is turning into a really interesting spot here for Carson. The Blood Moon Ursaluna just providing so much utility to these non-rare candy builds of Dragapult EX. Hawlucha's flying entry will place 10 damage counters on, 1 damage counter, 10 damage onto each of these benched Pokemon. Squawkabilly up to the 3.
And that's why these board states can be super deceiving sometimes, because sure, Justin has the prize lead, is taking out a lot of Carson's key Pokemon, but there's no backup. And the Ursaluna is at least good to take out 1 threat at any point. So
I will say, Justin technically could win here on this turn.
Yes.
It would be really difficult. He would need Boss's Orders, Electric Generator, and an Energy Attachment onto either a Miraidon or Zekrom. Either one of those, and he could close out the game here. And with the Boss's Orders going down from this Ultra Ball...
Well, actually, I believe Zekrom will be able to KO the Ursaluna this turn, right?
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Wait, no. It's 250, right? Is it 250? Oh, no, it's taking 3 prize cards?
Yeah, so it'd be 280.
280, wow,
Yeah, we'll be swinging for 280. So if we can find the Zekrom, an Electric Generator, hit 2 off of it, and the attachment for turn, we can KO through the active Blood Moon Ursaluna, and it's starting with this Mew.
It is starting with this Mew. Worth noting as well, 2 energy cards in the prize card, so it does decrease the odds slightly, but everything's got to come from this Mew to start with. Restart, drawing 3 cards here. 1, 2, 3. What does he have? There's an energy. There's an Ultra Ball.
Pheasantipity?
Yeah, Pheasantipity.
We keep going.
But he's going to bench the Electrike. And just go for the Motivate here. And
Justin does not play Pheasantipity.
Wow, yeah, no Pheasantipity in Justin's list. Okay, so worth noting there. Yeah, does not have that as an option for the Flip the Script. And he's just leaving it up to Carson here. Justin uses Motivate, puts the energy on to the Electrike here. Carson, now in the driver's seat, could potentially close out the game with Professor Turo right now if he's able to find the combination of Dragapult EX, an energy card, and the Professor Turo.
And I believe he's close. The hardest card to find out of all those is the Turo, and I think that's already in hand, but I don't know if the other 2 are there to piece it all together.
He's got Dragapult. Does he have the energy card? That is the question. And it cannot be a luminous energy. It would have to be a basic energy. He's actually got a basic psychic and his A-Spec, the Neo Upper Energy, in the prize cards. So he would need to find a fire energy or psychic energy. He only has 1 fire, 1 psychic left, and I'm not sure how many have been played up to this point. Is he going to just have to go with a Jet Headbutt to KO this Electrike?
Yeah, it looks like it. The counter catcher's come out. He's going to play a Lily to refresh the hand, but with the Lily there, you can't play the Turo, so no way, of course, to draw 3 prize cards during this turn. But this does completely remove the threat from play, so that's good. Just like last turn, though, Justin can still win with the Zekrom play. Has to find Zekrom. Generator for 2,
yep.
and an attachment. But the exact same play is still there for Justin.
Wow, this is going to be a close one here. Azul, let's see what Carson's able to find here. 6 cards now off of Lily's Determination. Would love to get an energy, but isn't super necessary, to be honest. And he does not find one, but I don't think he's super upset about it. Obviously, would be nice, but still able to retreat thanks to the Latias EX's Skyliner ability and Jet Headbutt, able to deal effectively with that Electrike, promotion of the Mew EX, and the draw of the Generator. But I don't think this leads to anything, Azul. He sure can go for the restart, but even if he gets Zekrom, he wouldn't have an energy to attach from hand.
Yeah, that's almost like an unfortunate sequence. But I don't even know how you could draw in a way there to get. That was just such an awkward set of cards to have to work with. There's almost like no out there for Justin, and I don't think we'll have a line this turn anymore. The question is, does Carson always just win next turn with the Ursaluna? I guess no. We can hide behind a Dynamo for a turn, hide behind the 1 prizer, and then do the same thing again. And
cross your fingers that Carson Washer does not have Boss's Orders in hand, which seems unlikely because there it is. Boss's Orders brings up the Mew EX, and that will be 2 prize cards after the attachment of Neo Upper Energy, which was in the hand. We didn't see it come down, but yeah, that was going to be enough to close things out. Carson Washer gets the win.
Yeah, gets the dub in that first one, and that was actually a pretty interesting game for how it started. It started super lopsided. Carson was way ahead in terms of where you want to be in this matchup, and then the Dracloaks didn't show up.
Yeah.
But he kept using Badoo, kept delaying Justin's setup, and then even though Justin was drawing prize cards every turn at a certain point, only had the single threat of the Iron Hands, and really the big missing piece there for Justin, honestly, was the Miraidon. Because even in that late game scenario, if we had just had Miraidon established earlier, even if we didn't have any other threats around it, you could search out the Zekrom.
Right, and I mean, honestly, the Miraidon as well could have become the attacker to close out the game with Boss's Orders on Pheasantipity or Latias even, right? That could have even been the way to close things out. Let's recap that game. It was a big story of the Badoo early for Carson and the lack of setup as well. Iron Hands EX doing what it does so well, being aggressive, taking prize cards, but Justin was unable to get a strong setup thanks to it.
Yeah, Iron Hands getting the initial prize cards here, but it's very powerful, but it can't do it by itself, especially when the opposing deck plays Ursaluna. Ursaluna will always come for the Iron Hands eventually, and that's when Iron Hands needs a little help, but Justin had nothing established, and when he finally tried to establish some threats at the end of the game, Carson had finally gotten options with the Gust effects and the Dragapult and was able to limit any possible comeback from Justin.
And then Carson did have the game-winning combo. Boss's Orders plus the Neo Upper Energy in hand leads to his victory in game number 1. Now heading into the second game, Justin will have the option to go first, go second. What do you think you want to do with the Mega Manetric deck?
I'm actually not sure about that one, to be honest. It does look like choosing first. And I don't think this gives you time to establish your Electrike specifically, which I think is a very big and important part of your energy acceleration.
Hold on, Azul. Let's look at these prize cards. Both Mega Manetric in the prizes for Justin. It is a 2-2 line here in the deck, and both of them are prized.
I think Justin will, it is scary, but I think Justin will probably be okay. We're trying to initiate with the Iron Hands. We're not initiating with the Mega Manetric. As long as Justin can draw a couple prize cards with the Iron Hands, I think Justin will be okay. Get one of those Mega Manetrics out of the prize cards. I guess the one fear would be, do the Electrics go down before they can be evolved into the Mega Manetric?
And it seems unlikely that that would be the case, right? Because Carson is playing the slower build. There's no rare candies, no real burst potential. So I think Justin is going to be crossing his fingers that he'll be able to find Mega Manetric EX before his little Electrics go down. And this is a really strong opening already for Justin. He started that Miraidon EX, a piece that he was missing in game number 1. Tandem Muted immediately filling the board. He's got Electrike, Dynamo, Iron Hands filling the field, and Squawkabilly's Squawk and Seas still to be utilized here. That is not the best to see, though. That is quite a few supporters hitting the discard pile, including, probably most importantly, as well, 2 Boss's Orders.
Yeah, 2 Boss's Orders going down. Also, a Lily's Determination and an Iono, which in this matchup are definitely more powerful. The Badoo shutting down the item cards is going to make it tough to get value out of your Arvins, besides the tool cards, of course.
Yeah, his other supporter cards, there's 2 Lily's Determination and 1 Iono. 2 of those 3 cards just went to the discard pile. Other than that, 4 Arvin. And then the 4 Boss's Orders. That's it. That's all he's working with.
Yeah, and on top of that as well, Justin is playing the Secret Box, which means it's not the Prime Catcher that we're used to seeing in the Miraidon deck, so only 2 Gust effects to work with as we head to the mid and late game. It could get tough for Justin to get around the Dragapult if we're not able to set up that Mega Manetric.
Lily's Determination will be the turn 1 supporter here for Carson after attaching Luminous Energy to this active Pheasantipity EX, benching a Dreepy, so at least gets that Dreepy down. But Carson's definitely looking for a bit of help here off these 8 cards.
Yeah, some more Dreepies would be nice. I think most importantly, though, especially with only 1 energy established on Justin's side, Badoo. You would probably settle for just Badoo as a basic Pokemon here if you had to pick 1 card.
And Buddy Poffin will ensure at least 2 basic Pokemon able to come down, and already a Dracloak in the hand, already an Ultra Ball in the hand. Things are looking quite a bit better for Carson Washer here in this game. And he doesn't have to worry about his hand getting disrupted. He may not know it, but Justin only plays 1 Iono. It's already hit the discard pile. Buddy Buddy Poffin now for Carson being used. We'll search the deck for 2 basic Pokemon, 70 HP or less. Here comes the Badoo, here comes the Dreepy, and then a retreat into Badoo leads to Itchy Pollen, which is no items for Justin this next turn.
Yeah, Carson's already set up into a pretty solid position here. This is very similar, I feel like, to game number 1 for Carson. Getting the Itchy Pollen established before there's a threat of the Ampu very much. There's no possibility of the Ampu very much on the next turn from Justin. At the very most, we could see an arm press, but that would have to involve finding an electric, a way to move the Miraidon, and an attachment for turn, which is tough to do under the item lock of the Itchy Pollen.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of very specific cards that Justin needs to find. He does have Lily's Determination in hand, so that sees a lot of cards. That is his final draw supporter. Other than, the Arvins, of course, acting more as search cards. So that is really fortunate for Justin to find here. He will be able to shuffle the hand in, drawing 8 new cards, and also has Electric. All he's missing here is Air Balloon plus a basic Lightning Energy.
Yeah, so is already pretty close. Going to get those 8 cards. Definitely would be pretty reasonable to find it. We did see the switch was in hand before the Lilies was played. Of course, Itchy Pollen shutting that down, one of the potential options, but there's a solid chance here that Justin can get the KO.
Here are the 8 cards. There's the energy. I think we were all pretty sure that he was going to find that, and that is 3 electric generators. More than a whole bunch of them being utilized here. And, actually really interesting, Thunder Jolt here from Electric does KO Badoo, and Justin has used Dynamotor to put that energy into play. He's going for it.
Yeah, definitely overlooked that there, and that does increase your odds here from Justin to be able to get this KO, and it's really all about just getting KOs. Ampu very much is ideally how you want to do it, because that's more prize cards, but you'll take any prize cards and wanting to put the pressure on to Justin here.
And it feels so much like so much of this matchup is just Carson trying to stabilize through this early game aggression. And we'll see if he's able to do that in this game. He's got the Pheasantipity already lined up. We know that he's got Dracloak in hand, so things are going to feel a little bit better for him than in the previous games. But is he able to get established before Justin gets too far ahead? Carson will now use Flip the Script, drawing the top 3 cards, since Justin took a KO on the last turn. There is a Lily's Determination here in the hand for Carson, which is nice. He's also got Hawlucha, Ultra Ball, so many different options.
Yeah, Carson definitely going to try and maximize being as disruptive as possible, probably trying to get a Badoo back in the active to once again item lock, and then probably I would expect to see a counter catcher. I did see one in the hand on the Electric on the bench. Now Justin does play Air Balloons, and I think there is an Arvin in the hand, but Carson doesn't know that and does want to maximize the potential that Justin can't take a KO on the next turn. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that be the play here from Carson.
So in the last game, we did not ever see a Mega Manetric come into play. That Pokemon has a ton of HP. It can withstand the Phantom Dives of Dragapult EX. It does give up 3 prize cards, of course, but how big of a deal is that going to be here potentially for Justin? It does look like he took Mega Manetric off the prizes.
Yeah, that's going to be a big key for this matchup as we progress towards the late game once the Dragapults get set up. It can be really hard for Justin to knock those out, and it's also really hard for Dragapult to KO Mega Manetric. So you have a way to KO their big threat. They don't have a way to KO your big threat, but Mega Manetric can only do so much if you haven't drawn enough prize cards in the early game. So it really is the 1-2 punch of Iron Hands into the Mega Manetric. If either comes up a little bit short, it's going to be hard to close out games.
Oh, we do see Carson committing his Neo Upper Energy, one of the most powerful cards in his deck, and using Counter Catcher to bring up Iron Hands EX right before this INO.
Ooh, I do like this play from Carson here. This does mean that Justin might not be able to evolve the Electric into a Mega Manetric if he wants to KO the Badoo, whereas otherwise you maybe could have just retreated the Electric, or if it evolved into Mega Manetric, into an Iron Hands to use a Arm Press.
Recon Directive from Carson now. He's going to look at the top 2. And as well, I don't see a way to get another Dracloak.
Well, this could be another situation where if the active Pokemon can be moved here for Justin and there's a boss's orders, the lone Dracloak could be taken care of. And now would be a lot scarier for your Dracloaks to get KO'd when there's the potential of multiple threats on Justin's side of the field.
Itchy Pollen once again, and Justin has nothing here in this hand that he can use. He's got one of the most powerful cards in his deck, Secret Box, but he cannot play that item card thanks to Itchy Pollen. He is relegated to a simple attach and pass.
Yeah, that's rough there from Justin. Even an Arvin to get an Air Balloon, or actually the Future Booster Capsule. I guess I didn't actually think about the Future Booster Capsule being it out, but that might have been a mistake from Carson, because Justin does have +1 out to move the Iron Hands as opposed to the Electric.
Yeah, Future Booster Energy Capsule, boosting the damage that Iron Hands does, but also giving it that coveted free retreat. But it works out nicely here for Carson. Justin unable to move this Pokemon. And we do see Jack being used as his supporter for turn, searching the deck for up to 2 evolution cards. There is a Dracloak, and there is a Dragapult EX, which will protect this Neo Upper Energy.
Yeah, and this is where it gets really, really scary for Justin. When the Dragapult player attacks with the Dragapult before the Miraidon player, Mega Manetric player, has drawn 2 prize cards.
And you know what's really unfortunate here for Justin is that extra effect of the Thunder Jolt attack of Electric. It's 30 damage, and then 10 damage to yourself.
Yeah.
And Electric has 70 HP, now only 60 remaining, and that lines up perfectly for a Phantom Dive.
Yeah, and we saw Carson was looking like he was eyeing up using Dusclops and maybe thinking about removing both major threats from the field, the Iron Hands and the Electric. I think the Electric will for sure be getting KO'd here. The question is, how far does Carson want to go? Do you want to use the Dusclops, or do you just want to reserve it for now? Justin is on the 5 prize cards, the odd prize cards, which generally means you don't have to be as aggressive with your Dusclops and Dusknoir.
So may hold off on it for now, wait for it to become a Dusknoir, give himself more options moving forward. And Phantom Dive is going to line up nicely to deal a bunch of damage to this active Iron Hands EX, but most importantly, taking out Electrike, as we may not ever see a Mega Manetric come into play.
Yeah, it's super unfortunate. Game 1, there was basically no chance. Here in Game 2, the Electrikes, it's going to be tough to get one in play, especially with the Dusclops on the back line and the potential of a Hawlucha if a bench space is cleared. Eventually, Electrike in general just might be not worth the easy prize card for Carson at this point.
Justin now, though, will be able to play his item cards. He's got Secret Box in hand. We'll be able to see Justin unlock the potential of Electric Generator. Where could this turn go for Justin? What would his best possible turn look like?
Oh man, this is definitely a tough one. As we see the Electrike getting searched out here once again, I think maybe trying to utilize this energy on your Iron Hand still, try and pull together a 2-prize knockout with an Amp you very much. Maybe ideally on that Dusclops to remove the possibility from Carson, or maybe you take care of that bench Dracloak and try and line up your Zekrom into the Dragapult later on to completely remove the threat of Dragapults. But just like in Game 1, Ursaluna is always an inevitability in this matchup.
Yeah, really interesting here for Justin is that he could utilize his Switch somewhere in the mix here to get that extra energy onto the Iron Hands through Dynamotor. He's going to grab out Boss's Orders as his supporter, so it looks like he could be lining up a really powerful place. Future Booster Energy Capsule will allow him to move this Iron Hands. He can Dynamotor, he can switch back into it. Okay.
Yeah, so it looks like is maybe going for that Ampu very much. The question is just what do you want to KO here? A bunch of options on the bench, or maybe just 2. I guess you could go after the Badoo, but I think Badoo is less of a threat than the Dusclops or the Dracloak. And honestly, I'm actually not even sure where I lean here. The Dusclops, even though Justin is on odd prize cards, so if the Dusclops ability gets used, you'd go down to even prize cards, down to the 4. That's where Justin wants to be. The potential of just trying to limit Dragapults in the future seems pretty good as well. So I'm a little bit torn here on what is the better KO. Neither of them feel great because it doesn't feel like it sets you up super well moving forward, but we got to pick one of them at the end of the day.
We'll see which one Justin goes with. He will start by attaching that Future Booster Energy Capsule, aiding the Iron Hands with the free retreat. Does have access to Dynamotor, but first we'll go for Electric Generator. Looking at the top 5 cards here, looking for some energy to get into play, and there are a pair found. We'll be able to put both onto the Iron Hands if he wants. He still has access to Dynamotor to get one more energy into play onto probably Electrike. Also has not attached for turn. It's kind of crazy how many energy can be put into play in just one single turn with this deck.
Yeah, and that's like another big part about the Mega Manetric is when you put energy on it, they're usually pretty safe because the Mega Manetric has 330 HP.
Right. Not super safe at this point, though, with just a little Electrike. Now, I do think Carson discarded his Hawlucha earlier, so he doesn't have it in the deck. But in theory, he actually has more access to it now, thanks to the Night Stretcher.
Yeah, and it looks like the Dusclops is the choice here to remove that potential threat. And the Miraidon is getting loaded up as well. But this is going to open up that bench space for Carson to potentially Night Stretcher, recover the Hawlucha, and go for a 3-prize turn, removing both major threats from the field. The Miraidon can still take KOs on Latias and Fez, but it's not as scary as Iron Hands or Mega Manetric.
Amp you very much. Takes 2 prize cards for Justin, sends him to just 3 remaining. Does remove that Dusclops from play. No potential for Dusknoir this turn on Carson's side. Happy to promote the Badoo, of course, with its free retreat. We'll see where he goes from here. Now, with just 20 HP left on the Iron Hands, I have to imagine Carson would love to get a Gust into the mix somehow this turn, either Countercatcher or Boss's Orders.
Yeah, definitely. Could even look to take a knockout on something like the Miraidon maybe, or just pressure it, put a ton of damage on it. Looks like he's going to go for the Squawk ability, just wants to chase prize cards.
Right.
And I have to imagine is looking for that Night Stretcher at this point.
This will lead to 2 prizes, at least, on the Squawk ability. Probably 3 when you factor in the... Or sorry, 4 when you factor in the Iron Hands, more than certainly going to be KO'd. And then Carson with just 1 prize card left just has to find a way to KO the Electrike at some point in this game. And
yeah, or I guess another line here for Carson could be KO the Squawk ability, put 2 damage counters on the Iron Hands, and then you just dump the other 4 onto the Electric, and then another Dragapult attack from potentially another Dragapult, even though you left the Electric alive to become a Mega Manetric, would just KO the Electric off the bench. And it's possible Carson actually maybe just sets up a checkmate board state scenario on this turn with that play.
Pheasantipity flipped the script, utilized, drawing 3 cards. Looks like a Turo is found for him. Ultra Ball, also Dragapult EX, a bunch of Iono, Lily's Determination. So many supporters in this hand.
There's the Ultra Ball coming in as well. He's eyeing up the Monkey Dory. And yeah, actually, in this scenario, yeah, I was going to say, Hawlucha with Turo actually is enough damage to KO Iron Hands and the Electric off the bench. So I think it's maybe...
Yeah, wow, he can win the game right now this turn. All he needs is Night Stretcher. And if he finds it, he can find it off Dracloak here. Oh, but he does not find it so close. That would have been so sick for him to take a 5-prize turn here, and all he needed was Night Stretcher. He had every other piece here.
Yeah, did not quite hit the full combo, but I don't think Carson is stressing about it. Definitely seemed like Carson knew what was up for sure the whole time, was playing heavily towards that play. And now just has to choose what supporter to play for turn, it looks like, and is going with the Iono, trying to be a little disruptive.
Wow, that would have been a crazy sequence to see. But Carson, yes, like you said, probably not stressing, feeling pretty solid about his position, especially sending his opponent's hand to the bottom of the deck. Justin will only have 3 cards to work with. Not bad ones, though, with the energy plus the Electric Generator. can get a lot of energy into play. And here comes Dragapult EX. It'll be 200 damage, an easy KO onto the Squawkabilly EX. 20 damage onto the Iron Hands. 4 more damage counters to play with. Looks like he'll spread them out. 30 damage onto the Electric. 10 onto the Miraidon, setting it up to be KO'd by a Phantom Dive. Carson with just 1 prize card remaining. Justin with his back against the wall. What is he going to do?
Man, I'm trying to come up with any play here for Justin. I think the play has to be find Zekrom, KO this Dragapult, and hope Carson cannot find a Dragapult EX or Ursaluna, which that is a tall order for Carson to not find.
Justin could get the KO here with the Mega Manetric as well. That would have something be something with more HP. It would force Carson to then find boss's orders in addition to his Dragapult. So that could be the move here for Justin. It does involve a little bit more. However, he needs to get that evolution piece, which he will be able to find now off of this Ultra Ball. And I think that last card in hand is Electric Generator as well.
That, if it hits too, that will be enough energy to pull off the Riotous Blasting to get the KO on the Dragapult. And then, yeah, like you said, gonna have to hope that Carson does not find Gus plus Ursaluna or a Dragapult to just pick the Electric off the bench. But has to start with this Generator here first. Need to hit 2 Lightnings.
Needs to hit the 2 Lightning here. 5 cards from the top. A double hit on the Generator. There's 1. Oh, and it's just the 1. And Justin says, I can't come back from that. It looks like he is...
He didn't even take the 1. He's just like...
retreat pass, and Carson wins on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is going to be it. Phantom Dive takes that final prize card for Carson Washer, able to just win the game. I think Justin thought that Carson had 2 prize cards remaining, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Carson just had it in hand. It looks like he had Ultra Ball, so probably a pretty good shot to close it out regardless. But Justin unable to make a name for the Mega Manetric here on streaming. Carson Washer, 8-1, first-year master. He is a teenager, and he is tearing it up here at the Milwaukee Regional Championships.
Yeah, it's great to see. Also doing it with the Dragapult Dusknoir, which I feel like was maybe a little bit of an underappreciated deck going into this tournament. I know a lot of people were down on it, myself included. There's a lot of Psyducks out there, a lot of Gardevoir out there. We just saw Hedrick win in the last round. Carson Washer now in this round.
2 wins in a row.
Dragapult's out here, still making moves.
Still making moves, absolutely. What a game. Unfortunate to not see the Mega Manetric deck at its full potential, but the Badoo, the item lock, just seems so tough for it to deal with.
Yeah, definitely makes things really hard once you aren't able to get a couple early generators. You have that slower start, you only have that 1 energy on the Iron Hands, and you're immediately getting Itchy Pollen.
And that is really what the story of this game was, in both games, was Itchy Pollen. Badoo, used over and over and over again. Justin just unable to get rolling. He's only got 3 draw supporters in his deck. 2 Liz Determination plus the 1 Iono. Other than that, he is super reliant on Arven. He is super reliant on his powerful item cards, and he just could not make it happen.
Yeah, Arven's usually enough when you have access to your items, but the Itchy Pollen shutting it down means you're going to have to slowly build up these Iron Hands like we saw in that first game through just manual attachment after manual attachment. And then when that gets dealt with an Ursaluna, you got nothing on the back line to protect you. Was able to get a little bit more aggressive in this second game with the Electrike play. That was a really cute play to start to get through the Badoos, but
they came back to bite him here.
Yeah.
That 10 damage made all the difference, and that allowed that Electrike to just be KO'd super easily by Carson.
Yeah, and the same thing happened. The Badoos came back in, slowed things down, gave Carson the upper hand, and then Carson got back into the prize lead as we headed into the late game here. And then we got to the end. The Generator hitting 2 would have been cool.
Yep.
Would have given Justin a chance.
Yep.
It is unlikely it would have been enough, and Justin couldn't even get that going to get the Mega Manetric set up.
Carson with a big smile, happy to get the win here on stream. Second ever regionals as a master. Gotta imagine he's feeling great. 8-1, an excellent start.
Yeah, super good start. Very good chance that we see him in cut tomorrow, especially if he's playing that well. Very well played from Carson as well. Definitely worth mentioning. So definitely someone I'll be looking out for as we head towards the rest of Phase 2 tomorrow.
Something else worth mentioning as well, his testing partner and same 60 teammate here this weekend, Andrew Hedrick, has moved to an 8-0-1 record. He
Pretty
took
good.
down Christopher Carleon, who was our final undefeated player. So there's no one else in the tournament left undefeated. We're not going to see a crazy run like we did from Liam Halliburton in Pittsburgh. But Hedrick and Carson leading the charge here in phase number 2 with Dragapult. Didn't really expect that, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I would not have guessed that would be... I mean, a couple Dragapult Dusknoirs in cut would not have been a shock, especially if one of them is Andrew Hedrick.
Yep.
But yeah, the top 2 seeds heading into day 2 is definitely a little bit of a surprise for sure.
Yeah, and just looking, as we're waiting here for this interview to get set up, looking at some of the other decks that are doing really well, there is kind of a lot of this Mega Absol, Mega Kangaskhan EX deck doing well. Is that something, after seeing the list kind of get out there the last couple of days, that you would have expected?
Yeah, I think a little bit, but I think something that more so has to do with that is